Hi, Facebook Live, and welcome, welcome, welcome. We have our new series this week. It's called A Vision for Oceanside, supporting entrepreneurship and local business through development and growth. And we will be having Karen Vasquez joining us. We've had a little bit of technical difficulties this morning, so we're just going to wait for her. And in the meantime, I want to take a moment and talk about a vision for Oceanside. While campaigning, I've been often asked this question, and I thought that I would like to address it in a series of workshops, mainly because it's important for me to hear what's the vision that the citizens of Oceanside have, one, and two, be able to bring a lot of different kinds of perspectives to the table. For example, tomorrow we'll have Mary Lou Della Rosa joining us. She's been very active with FACO, that's the Filipino American Cultural Organization here in Oceanside, and she's been active in so many other kinds of organizations. And I thought it's really important that during a time like this, how does a vision for Oceanside, when it relates to diversity, when it relates to having different perspectives? And I'd like to share a story while I was on the campaign that talks about this particular issue and why I'm running. So my vision for your Oceanside. Recently, in the campaign, we will say, I have encountered a particular news or how about media outlet, and I wanted to put my my material in Spanish, and I was told that that it was not offered to the other candidates, and that it would be unfair to actually put my particular materials in Spanish. And I said, well, did any of the other candidates ask? And allegedly, in the field of candidates, and this is not just District 3, this is District 4, this is mayoral candidates, this is just across the board, whoever is running, because this particular outlet caters to all. Nobody asked, allegedly, asked to put their materials in another language. And you can argue the statement, we're in America, we speak English here, and I've heard all of that. But why do I come to you and talk about this, a vision for Oceanside? Because my choice to put my statement in another language was predicated on other people's vision. So because they didn't have a vision like I have of inclusion and diversity, I don't get the choice. And one of the things that has happened most recently, just in our society, is now, even before to this, when I would articulate these kinds of concerns of, hey, let's talk about diversity. Do you have people of different national origins? Do you have people of different creeds and colors, different sexual orientations, different religions? If you have the same kind of people running your campaign that think just like you, then I would ask, is your campaign truly well-rounded? So getting back to this particular instance, I'd like to have the choice. But because of the culture and the powers that be that are currently active in our politics and active in our decision-making process, until they think about inclusion, I don't get a choice. So that's why I'm running, to get us to ask for your vote, to get a seat at the table, to at least have different voices be considered. Right now, because they don't have that kind of vision, and this is not something that is how do I want to say this? This is not a shaking my finger and being upset at. This is an exploration. This is me attempting to have a dialogue and a space to say, I think about these things. I think about underserved communities. I think about people who are struggling financially. And let me tell you something, there are poor whites just as there are poor Blacks and poor Latinx, poor Filipinos, Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese, Native Americans, Indigenous folk, Aboriginal, whatever you subscribe to, it also becomes an income issue. So I would like to sit at the table to represent that group as well. Often a lot of these programs talk about social equity and racial equality. And a lot of these news stations and media outlets, they talk about the same thing. But because nobody else, none of the other candidates thought about putting their materials in another language, I could not. So my vision for Oceanside is one that truly explores racial inclusion, social equity issues, so that as we begin to make policies, we have a fuller viewpoint. I feel my presence on that council will hold the powers that be accountable, and that your vote, and thank goodness it's going to take your vote and not an appointment, because I would not be able to get on that city council with an appointment. I will be able to get on that city council with your vote. So a vision for Oceanside, that is my vision, one of the visions. And a vision for Oceanside is supporting entrepreneurship and local business through development and growth. As a small business owner, and Karen, she also is a small business owner, I am committed to sharing resources. And some of that is not as sexy as some huge plan. It's just simply sharing practical resources and hopefully encouraging and inspiring our community members to consider developing their own business. Venus, who is working hard right now, getting Karen on this Zoom call. But as we have this conversation, we'll be posting some resources for you to go on if you are interested in starting your own business. I have had the opportunity to be an ambassador a lot of my life. And I think that's what the council also needs, by the way. We need someone on that council that knows how to speak with people, that knows how to collect people together, be able to have conversations in civil discourse. And I have been an ambassador at Hera Hub Carlsbad. Hera Hub Carlsbad is a co-working space for women, and they certainly encourage entrepreneurship, and they give support. Now, this particular organization, it does cost to be a part of it, and I will be giving some resources that are free, but this one is particular, you have to pay for it. But why do I bring it up is because they have been instrumental in helping me get work through a business plan. Just being in the atmosphere of female entrepreneurs, and it's not limited to female entrepreneurs, but it is focused on that. And Karen and I, we initially met through Elaine Swan's Swan School of Protocol headquarters. Elaine was working a private lesson with a young woman who was running for a pageant, and Elaine and Karen, who I met there, another woman by Michelle Burke, and then Sheila Alston. And I'm trying to remember all the people that kept talking about Hera Hub Carlsbad, that, oh, you gotta go, it's a really great space. And I finally went, and I have been there ever since. Now, due to COVID, I haven't been doing, and also, running for office, I certainly have not been able to do my ambassador duties there. But what I can tell you is the amount of encouragement that I have felt through Hera Hub Carlsbad, and how they have helped me move through my small business. like Karen, my business is very service oriented. It has a lot to do with consulting and helping people develop their projects. And I have had a challenging time to say that I am a for-profit company when it has such a nonprofit kind of sensibility. And my husband and I, we also have a business together, very similar in mission, to help the community evolve in certain ways. So when Karen and I started to decide that I wanted to do this series and encourage entrepreneurship, her business as mine, and many of us who are in the service industry, where we're helping people, have suffered. And what are we doing to get through that? Well, utilizing some of the resources that Venus will share, and by working together, finding groups that you can align with. I also had spent some time with the Women's Business Center. Now that's out in San Diego. And I had the pleasure of working with Kellie Ibarra, Ibarra, Kellie spelled Katty. And she was the person that said, okay, she gave me this email of all the things that I needed to do to get started. And this is what the business centers do. We have, there's the SoCal Veterans Business Center, specifically for veterans. We have the SBA.gov. We have SCORE in San Diego. And also last night, if you want to find it, we will also repost this again. There is a business expo that's a free online event that they're putting out. So if you are someone that's like, okay, I don't know about entrepreneurship, well, this is a time that we can have a vision for your life. Let's dream big. Let's find out how we can get you moving towards the infinite possibilities that are out there. See, it's really unsexy to run a campaign on vision and possibilities, but it's method to my madness. Why I started last week. One, it was Suicide Prevention Week, but we also talked about behavioral health services. We talked about moving through those areas of your life. And I feel that until we address our mental spaces and take a moment to figure out and vision for our life, plans and what we're going to do, well, they all stem from that particular area. So that's why I am definitely interested in promoting and helping entrepreneurs, and finding that a vision for Oceanside really does encapsulate that. Taking a moment to mentally explore where you are, what you want to do. And maybe it's just as simple as joining this business expo that's coming up. Or maybe you're willing to go ahead and say, yeah, I've had this business idea and I'd like to get started. So I'm going to hang up this particular vision for Oceanside now. My lovely campaign manager says that Karen is actually going to join us, but we have to end this one and restart it again. So please stand by for a vision of Oceanside, and we will be joined by Karen Vasquez. Thank you.
All right. Perfect. So I ended the live.